It's time for the Hockey Writers Grind Line, a weekly show covering everything Detroit Red Wings. Brought to you by our own iconic top line of Wings writers. Sit back and enjoy the grind.
Welcome to the Hockey Writers Grind Line. I am your host, Pat Brown, and joining me as always are my line mates, Devin Little and Kyle Knopp, and we are thrilled to have you here for another grind. We've got such a treat in store for you today as we officially welcome you to the second annual Grindy Awards. That's right, a season's worth of hard work is in the books for the Red Wings, and today we'll present our awards for the Wings' best of the best. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, this show is being brought to you by the Hockey Writers Sports Betting Guide, a brand new source for your daily sports betting odds, lines, props, and futures, as well as some daily fantasy strategies and analysis. Make sure you follow THW Bets on Twitter to get the latest on everything sports betting. And remember, if you decide to bet, please do so responsibly. If you or anyone you know has a problem with gambling, please check out the resources that we've got in the description below. Now, on to the show, gentlemen, because we've got quite a lineup in store for everybody at home today. If for anybody who watched our Grindies last season, some of these may sound familiar. We've got some new awards, and for the first time, we actually opened it up on Twitter for a lot of the awards. So appreciate you at home chipping in and voting on some of your best, because some of those were actually tiebreakers. So really, really good stuff. So without further ado, our first award today is for the Red Wings Most Improved Player. And our nominees are Dylan Larkin, Michael Rasmussen, and Lucas Raymond. And the winner is, and by the way, there was a tie in our editor and producer, Matthew Zabtor, an all-around great guy, by the way, had to break the tie on two of them, and this was one of them. Lucas Raymond, ladies and gentlemen, with the win. So we're going to go around, quick little round table, and talk about this, and I'm going to start since I have the floor. And congratulations, Lucas. Very happy for you, but I've got a problem with this, actually. I've got a problem with this because my selection was Dylan Larkin. Actually, excuse me. My selection was Michael Rasmussen for most improved. I feel as if he made the most progress of anyone, and I don't feel like there was ever a starting point for Lucas Raymond. But democracy in action, folks. And Lucas is our grand champion. So let's toss it over to Devin. Devin, I don't remember who you voted for, but let's toss it over to you and get your thoughts on Lucas claiming this prestigious and highly scientifically voted upon award.
Well, it's been a while since I've had a chance to do this. So choo. I voted for Lucas Raymond. I did. And the reason why I voted for Lucas Raymond is because, the way I look at it is his start point was the beginning of the season. That's his start point. And I think over the 82 games he played this season, I think that he developed as a player, as a human being. I think that the player that you saw in game 82 was not the same player that you saw in game 1. I think he learned what it means to be an NHLer. I think he learned what it means to play 82 games. And I think that, we saw him hit a wall in December, January, kind of the midpoint of the season, and he overcame it somewhere along the way there. And that's what you want to see. So the way I looked at it, he's a better player today than he was at the beginning of the season. And that's what you want to see out of a guy who's now a cornerstone piece of this rebuild.
I think those are very fair points. And he did not take the method like I do in bowling, where I roll a 180 the first 4 weeks and then sneak up with 220 so I can get most improved. So there we go. Kyle, last word to you on this one. Lucas Raymond, most improved. Agree, disagree? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I also voted for Lucas Raymond. We had the votes online went to Michael Rasmussen, and
I love you at home.
I was really torn between the two. Honestly, I think Rasmussen came a long way, but if you go back to our show right around training camp last year, I believe we had Rachel on. I was pretty adamant about how I thought Raymond was going to start the season down in in Grand Rapids and how that would be better for his development. And then not only did he come out on fire, but he stayed within that Calder discussion throughout the whole season. So I had to give the tip of my hat to Raymond there. I think he never really ran into that, freshman struggle. Hats off to him for that. And he kept plugging away, even when he didn't have Bertuzzi, even when he didn't have Larkin, and he continued to produce. So I think Rasmussen makes a point for really coming a long way, but in my mind, it was definitely Raymond.
I think those are all very good points. For those of you keeping score at home, the fan vote and myself was for Rasmussen. Raymond was Devin, Kyle, and then ultimately our e-bug and producer Matthew Zator, who broke the tie. So thank you for that, Matthew. And now to present our next award, Devin Little.
So our next award is going to go to the best newbie, the best newcomer on the team. This recognizes a player who stood out the most in their first season wearing the winged wheel. So our nominees are goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic, defenseman Moritz Seider, and forward Lucas Raymond. And the winner is, by a unanimous vote, Moritz Seider. Who else? Claps all around. All right, I'll start the discussion on this one. In my mind, as much as everyone knows how I feel about Lucas Raymond, this season was Seider's. Seider transformed this team in a way that Nedeljkovic or Raymond did not. I think that Seider's going to win the Calder Trophy this year, and I think that's basically what it comes down to. And he's going to deservedly win the Calder Trophy, or at least he better. And I will leave it at that because Kyle, you can elaborate more.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to elaborate on other than we had a trio of fantastic rookies this season. They were a ton of fun to watch. Even Nedeljkovic, who didn't quite get the credit he deserved. He posted 4 shutouts on the season, which if you looked at all the goaltenders throughout the league, he's in some elite company with those goaltenders that posted 4 or more shutouts. And then he, was better than a lot of the goaltenders who you're looking at in the playoffs right now that did not even have 4 shutouts this season. So he played really well in front of a struggling team. Like we just talked about, Raymond had a fantastic season, continued to improve and stay up and competitive throughout the whole season. But this really was a Seider season, so to say. And he's going to be rewarded with that Calder. Pat?
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't realize you were waiting on me, to be honest. So
Bad
first
transition there.
First, I'm wishing instead of an IPA, I did grab that Angry Orchard hard cider. That would have been quite topical. But I don't need to pile on here. I think everybody understands Moritz Seider, not only best newcomer on the Red Wings, arguably best newcomer in the league this season. We will certainly find out. The nominees will be announced shortly, and then we'll find out the end result there in the Stanley Cup final. Moritz Seider, congrats on a great season. It's exciting to see what he's done his first year, and looking forward to watching his career develop. So congrats, Mo.
All right. Our next award is the Motown Award, given to the player who best embodies the spirit of Detroit. The 2021-2022 nominees are Dylan Larkin, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Michael Rasmussen. And the winner is the captain, Dylan Larkin. All right. So this one was one that we've discussed throughout the year quite a bit. Just what the 2 players that kind of stood out to me, Dylan Larkin and Tyler Bertuzzi, as being the front runners for this award, and how they bring that energy to the team day in and day out. And I think it really came down to just Dylan Larkin setting the tone right from game 1 in Tampa Bay when he took exception to getting hit from behind and wanted the whole league to know that he wasn't going to be messed with this season. And again, we talked about it last week, but there were multiple times last season when we questioned whether Larkin could be a number 1 center, and he went and answered those as well. So between those 2 points, there are plenty others to make, but I think that's really what stood out for Dylan Larkin in my mind. Pat, you also voted for Larkin?
Yeah, I definitely did vote for Larkin. I would say, just like you said, Kyle, I was between Larkin and Bert on this. If Bert had won, I think I have no qualms with that. He's a very, very hardworking, great team player. Just embodies the spirit of Detroit so well. But you look at the bounce back season that Larkin had. You look at the naysayers, including some of us on this show before the season started. And you got to tip your cap and be happy for the guy. He embodies everything that is Detroit. And congrats to him, Dylan. So I guess, Devin, we'll toss it to you.
I'm pretty sure this is another one that was unanimous across all 4 voting parties, and I think it was deservedly so. This is another season. I mean, this has been the case for a while now, but this is another season where you saw why he's the captain of this team, facing those tough questions and fueling the success that they did have. I think that, you know, like what was already said, this was a huge bounce back season for Larkin. He's kind of back on the map. Nationally speaking, he was the Red Wings all-star representative this year. And he obviously had to put in a lot of work to get his game back to where it belonged. And let's not downplay the fact that he exited last season with that neck injury. That could have derailed the career, and it did not. He had to put in the work to bounce back from that as well. Anyone who works hard and produces against all odds, I think that is the embodiment of the city of Detroit. And I'm looking forward to the announcement that Larkin has signed an extension this offseason.
Unfortunately, he has to go through that surgery recovery again this season. So hopefully he'll be able to bounce back again. I mean, it's amazing. Guy. I think he's going to have to be the Masterson Award nominee next season, you would think, because of the back-to-back season-ending surgeries that he had to go through.
I'm surprised he wasn't this year, to be honest with you.
Honestly, yeah. I am a little bit as well.
That's to end the conversation really quick. As one thing I was going to add in there, and we don't need to get into specifics on this show, but he had an incredibly difficult year personally as well. Went through some things at home that were very unfortunate, out of his control. And I think he handled himself with class, both off the ice and on the ice. And he's somebody who I would say, I hope my kids, take as a role model, the way he's carried himself. Congrats to you, Dylan, and our hats off to you. All right. Our next award is the Yzerplan Award. And this is awarded to the team's most exciting prospect. Our nominees, and again, this was another tie that came down to our e-bug, Matthew. Our nominees for the Yzerplan Award are Jonatan Berggren, Simon Edvinsson, and Elmer Soderblom. And the winner in a tiebreaker, Jonatan Berggren ekes it out at the end. And I will quickly kick off here because I want to call out the obvious before everybody's already jumping into the comments. We know Yzerman didn't draft Berggren, right? But the spirit of the award here is the team's most exciting prospect. And there's a definite argument for Edvinsson. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm just chomping at the bit to see Berggren get that call up. I was sad to not see him, especially when Grand Rapids was eliminated from playoff contention, but I get it. And why ruin somebody's psyche after the season that he had, after the health issues that he had early on in his career? Let him finish on a high note, and we'll see what happens in camp and into next season. But really, really excited to see what Berggren has to do next season and beyond. And happy to see this train finally starting to leave the station. Devin, Berggren, Yzerplan Award. What are your thoughts?
Two things here. One, yes, Yzerman did not draft him, but at this point in his career, Yzerman has handled his development more than Ken Holland did. So at this point, Berggren's a Yzerman prospect in my eyes because he could have traded him, and I think he's invested in his progress. And then the second thing, I voted for Berggren, and I think there might have been a little bit of proximity bias in there because he did break the rookie scoring record for my local Grand Rapids Griffins, and that's not something that I could ignore. I think that everyone who's excited about Simon Edvinsson is rightfully so.
Oh yeah,
but I said this on Prospects Corner just this past week. I think Berggren gets a little underlooked because of Edvinsson, but you will not be overlooking him halfway through next season, because this dude's going to add to the Red Wings offense in a big way. And now it's just a matter of waiting for that to happen. Kyle, anything else to add?
I don't want to take anything away from Berggren. And like you said, he set the rookie scoring record in Grand Rapids. He had a fantastic season. I think it's going to do wonders for his confidence. I think he's going to be a mainstay in that lineup next year. But the fans and I have spoken, and we think that it's Edvinsson by far. And my argument for that is just, he's so exciting. And we just saw what Moritz Seider did this past season. And Moritz Seider was in the exact same position that Edvinsson was in last year, and Edvinsson basically replicated that. So the fact is, like, we have another defensive stalwart coming over that we can really build off of, and I think that's something to be extremely excited about. And then we can't overlook Soderblom. I mean, you can't overlook him. He's 6'7".
Literally.
But he is going to be a huge presence on that power play when he gets over here and gets accommodated to the North American game. So there's a lot to be excited for. So I really don't think there's a bad choice in this Yzerplan Award. And that just goes to show you how bright the future is in Detroit.
Yeah, completely agree. I think we'll revisit this one and your disagreement after Berggren wins the Calder next year. So.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm okay with that.
Okay, our next presenter, Devin Little.
Oh boy. Our next award goes to the Red Wings' biggest surprise players this season.
Ron Burgundy.
Yes. Without further ado, our nominees are Sam Gagner, Lucas Raymond, and the combination of Jake Wallman and Oscar Sundqvist, the St. Louis boys. And the winner is Lucas Raymond. That's his second win tonight. Props to the young man. I'll start this off. I think that, Kyle, what you said when we were talking about Raymond earlier is pretty much why he's the biggest surprise. I don't think anybody, I mean, I think there were some people, but I think the majority of people expected Raymond to at least start the season in Grand Rapids. That maybe not where he would finish it, but he would need some time to get acclimated. He had never played in North America before this season. And he came in, he took the league by storm, like right off the bat. I think Larkin helped him have success this year a lot, but I think Raymond helped Larkin have success just as much. And I think to see a 19 who's now 20-year-old player come in and do that and have the impact he did right away, it was surprising and a very welcome surprise. So I won't say anything more because we all know I could talk all night about Lucas Raymond. So Kyle, off to you.
Yeah, so I was the one that threw the wrench into this this nominee here, because when I saw the nominees come out, I put the write-in vote of Oscar Sundqvist, and my vote was originally going to go to Raymond for the reasons I stated before, just how I was expecting him to kind of be a meddling rookie player this year. He really came out and opened my eyes and opened the rest of the team's eyes to show that he could be, one of those generational type of players. So, but when I was looking at this, I wanted to kind of look at this a little bit deeper. And I looked at how Detroit got rid of Leddy and brought back Wallman and Sundqvist, who were extremely valuable down the run. And Sundqvist went from scoring not very many goals in St. Louis to coming here and putting up almost identical numbers in this short amount of time that he was with the Detroit Red Wings. And I just think that if he comes back next year, he's going to be kind of a surprise guy on that middle six that, could really bolster the competition among the Red Wings younger players and could really replace some of their older veterans that are going to be on their way out. So that's why I wrote him in as my surprise, but I think this is very well deserved for Lucas Raymond. Pat, what are your thoughts on the biggest surprise for the season award?
Yeah, I voted for Raymond. I did not expect him to come out of the gate the way he did and obviously get Rookie of the Month in November, I believe it was. Right. Seider was October. Yep. Raymond was November.
Djokovic couldn't pull it off in December for the trifecta.
Right? Come on. But what more can you say about the kid? Just a quick shout out to Gagne, who had a wonderful season.
Yes.
And he was a pleasant surprise for the Red Wings. And, just a shout out to Gagne. And obviously my son is named Oscar, so there's always going to be a place in this household for Sundqvist. But you guys said it all already. My vote went to Raymond, but I think all of the names in this award category were well-deserved.
And now for the next award, we present the former Red Wings we'd like to see win a cup award. And this year's nominees, and we'll just stick to this year's potential winners, because if we had that award, we could go all day. But the nominees for this year's former Red Wing that we'd like to see win a cup are Darren Helm from the Colorado Avalanche, Luke Glendening, and Vlad Namestnikov from the Dallas Stars, and Patrick Nemeth from the New York Rangers. And the winner is Darren Helm. And for me, I'm going to overlook the whole Colorado Avalanche Detroit Red Wings rivalry from 20
there's your problem.
Years ago. And I could see your body language there.
Yeah, I think I'm being pretty clear about it. Yeah.
I can looks like that. He's been told to go to timeout.
Yes. And my reasoning for this is only because Darren Helm has been with the Wings for so much longer than any of these other guys and has just put in the time. And I think he deserves to go out on top. And it might not hurt. I might have picked the Avalanche in a couple of pools I'm in, but I would love to see Darren Helm raise that cup. Devin, over to you. Sorry. Who is your former Red Wing that you would like to see win a cup, since we know who Pat's was?
Yeah.
Wasn't, I should say.
Wasn't.
Yeah. Like you, I picked Helm as well. And for pretty much the exact same reasons as you, this is kind of a knock on him, but I like him a lot more now that he's not on the Red Wings.
Yes.
And he is a good guy. He spent a lot of good years in Detroit, was a really useful player in a lot of good years. And despite the team he plays for, that's a guy that I think if he gets a cup this year, he maybe calls it a career and he gets to go out on top. And for a guy like Darren Helm, I think that's a fitting end for a player who, like I said, played a lot of good years for the Detroit Red Wings. Now, Pat, if you would like to get on your soapbox, now is your opportunity.
So first of all, Helm won a cup in 2008 with the Red Wings.
That's
so
true.
It's not like he needed the cup. He won the cup already. I will hold him in high reverence forever because of his Western Conference final clinching goal against the Blackhawks.
Yep.
A moment I will never, ever, ever forget in my life. My parents were watching upstairs, and for some reason, the TV that they were watching was ahead.
Oh,
and so they had already seen that he scored. And my dad told me, he said he looked at mom and he goes, wait for it.
Yeah.
So all of that, I can't say what I want to say about the Colorado Avalanche because this is a family show. I was 12 years old in 1996, and I will never forgive that organization, and I will never forget what Claude Lemieux did to Chris Draper. And I can't cheer for them to win a cup. I do not have it in me to cheer for them to win a cup. So Luke Glendening, Vlad Namestnikov were my pick for what it's worth. And obviously it'd be great to see Patrick Nemeth. And all joking aside, good luck, Darren. Get that breakaway, miss the post. It's cool. But I can't cheer for the Avalanche. Can't do it.
The other reason I'm going for the Avs is I do have a friend of mine that works in their organization, so I would like to see her get a cup.
Very nice.
It's cool.
So, our next presenter is Patrick.
Oh, geez, what a shock. Cool. Thanks, Kyle. Before we move on, just a reminder for you at home, today's show is being brought to you by the Hockey Writers Sports Betting Guide. If I were a betting man, which I am, I'd wager that this is one of the most comprehensive guides around. Make sure you check it out. But remember, please bet responsibly. If you or anyone you know has a gambling addiction, please check out the resources that we have listed below in the description. And now, the most perhaps anticipated award of the night. Our award is for Best Beard. This was an internal vote, by the way. Our
not unanimous.
Our nominees for best beard are Mark Stahl, Sam Gagne, and our reigning champion, the one and only Kyle Knopf. And the winner for the second straight year, the one and only Kyle Knopf. Congrats, Kyle. Do you have any tips to help me here? Because I got nothing.
Oh man, I mean, just a lot of sunshine and water. That's kind of helps it grow. But
are you a chia pet? What is going on?
I honestly almost went and shaved it all off tonight just to mess with you guys. And then my wife intelligently stopped me before I did that. I appreciate
it's like in Schitt's Creek when Mutt shaves and
anyway. I absolutely yes. But yeah, no, I'm honored. I'm thankful for this award. I still think this is rigged a little bit. I don't understand how you guys. Mark Stahl with that big old red beard.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
a strong second. A strong second.
That's true.
But I do appreciate that.
And from now on, every time I think of Kyle, I'm just gonna hear in my head, Kyle.
Kyle.
Thanks for knowing right where I was going with that, Devin.
Matt, can we get that cheetah sound in there somewhere? Like it's edited.
Kyle.
Oh, that's your new all next year. That's gonna be a thing.
We'll have to make that into a ringtone for you, so when I text you, that will light up that way.
All right, we're doing good here. Our next presenter is hey, look at that, Devin Little.
Gotta get more presenters. Another.
When's the musical entertainment coming on?
Yeah, for real. Couldn't get Machine Gun Kelly or anyone. What the heck? Anyways, our next award is another return one from last year. This award is the most likely to miss an open net award. Very prestigious award. We all, on pins and needles thinking about who's going to win this award every year. So without further ado, the nominees are a return nominee, the ghost of Chris Draper, another ghost, the ghost of Darren Helm. This place is haunted. And Adam Ernie. Not ghost yet, but we're getting there. The winner is, and in a shocking, of Kyle's prediction, the winner is Adam Ernie.
It might as well be the ghost of Kyle, not because of Adam Ernie.
I'm not going to say anything more. I think this one's all Kyle. What do you have to say for yourself? Explain yourself
right now. Oh, throwback.
Well, here we are. We are May 6th recording this, and my prediction was completely wrong. I don't even think he hit a third of the goals in which I thought he would, and I thought I was setting him at a fairly low bar, but apparently he had something else to say about that. In all seriousness, I hope Adam Ernie is able to bounce back next year. I think he provides a spark to the team in the bottom six that could be valuable in the upcoming seasons if he comes back. If he's not back, I wish him all the best. I hope that he can prove me wrong in another organization. But man, was that just not the best thing to put on record this year. So Adam, this is to you. If you're not hitting nets, you might as well be missing open ones. So congratulations.
We're not gonna dwell on this one anymore. Our next presenter is going to be the one, the only Mr. Kyle Knopf.
All right, our next award is new this year, and it's a fun one. Yep. It is the Don't Let the Door Hit You award, given to the person who, while we are grateful for their faithful service to the Red Wings, we are excited to see what their future holds elsewhere. So your nominees this year are Jeff Blashill, Daniel DeKaiser, and Thomas Grice. And the winner is Jeff Blashill. And I think everyone is very, very happy for this award to be given out. I think the other two nominees would probably be in the fans' minds happy to see go as well. But everyone has been asking for a change, especially after the All-Star break toward the second half of the season. The Red Wings just kind of fell off the planet there, and a lot of that had to do with coaching and some special teams decision, and you could see it in Yzerman's reaction in the press box. He was not very happy with how this team was being managed. So he went out, and the day after the final game of the regular season, not even 12 hours after I filmed,
wasted no time.
Not even 12 hours after, again, I got on camera and said the worst prediction ever. He was out the door. So if that had anything to do with it, you're welcome. But if not, then hopefully these other two guys are going to be not nominees next year. So Pat, we'll get your thoughts on the Don't Let the Door Hit You award.
Yeah. So again, my vote there was for Blashill. Kyle, I thought your description of the award was right on. Right. It's very, 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 very grateful. Yzerman kind of said it in that presser. Blashill led this team through uncharted territory.
Yeah,
I've been one of his staunchest defenders for a long time because he was successful at every single level that he ever coached. He did help develop the talent. It was just one of those things that it was time for a new voice. You could see it by the play. You could see it by the body language. It was just time for a new voice. But I don't believe that diminishes what Blashill did. I feel the exact same way about Danny DeKeyser, and Devin, I think you may have something to say about him. I think Danny stepped into an incredibly difficult situation when he first appeared with the Wings. He handled it with class, and I'm very grateful for what he did. And same with Thomas Greiss. So we joke, don't let the door hit you. It's a joke. It's a joke. But it's going to be exciting to see new blood, new faces, and see how they adapt. So Devin?
Well, for anyone out there who at the start of the show was like, oh man, they're not going to talk about the Blashill news. We got it in there. We got it in there for you. I think that both of you summarized the Blashill aspects perfectly. Hard situation, but it was time. And to your point, Pat, let me talk about DeKeyser for like 20 seconds.
Sure.
Go Western Michigan Broncos, first and foremost. Second, signed out of college as a 23-year-old, I believe, and basically was asked to come in and fill Nick Lidstrom's shoes, which is impossible. And to his credit, at least in the first few years of his career, while he was never Lidstrom like, he did look good. He never looked out of place in the NHL, and you got to give him credit for that. Once he had that back injury in 2020 or whatever it was, he just never looked the same. And it is what it is. Those things happen, and it's a damn shame. And I don't fault him for his play afterwards, because when things like that happen, it's not your fault. It is what it is. And I'm proud of him for having played through it and not looking, okay, maybe he looked like a little bit of a disaster, but not a train wreck. We'll call it that. And he wore the A this season. I know for me, I was happy to see that. And I guarantee you, while you may not have been impressed by his play on the ice this season, I guarantee you he was valuable for all those young players in the locker room. So he did bring something to this team, whether you believe it or not.
I want to just add to that there, Devin, that he was, before that injury, he was always doing what was asked of him. He was always a solid defender. He wasn't anything more than what you expect to do, wasn't anything less than what you needed. He was always right there. He just wasn't going to be that next Lindstrom. I mean, there just isn't that type of defenseman out there. So you're absolutely right. He was put into a very difficult position, played well, and then just had an untimely injury that, along with age, just started to really show its toll the last couple of years. So we do wish him the best of luck wherever he ends up after the season. I don't think anything's been announced yet. But I think that, he was in a very tough predicament right from the get-go. Pat, any last words on the Don't Let the Door Hit You on the way out?
No.
All right. Then please welcome our next presenter coming in from off stage. Wait, nope, he's over here. Devin Little.
The drinks have been flowing tonight, folks. Anyways, our second to last award of the night already. Wow, what a fun night we've had. Was decided purely by our fans on
Thank
Twitter.
you for voting.
So
Yes,
thank
thank
you for
you
voting.
so much.
And if you would like to be part of the voting committee for next year's award, if we're able to do this again, go follow us over at THW Grindline. That's all I can say. This award is awarded to the player that fans are most excited about heading into next season. So it's going to be, rookies, or not rookies, but prospects, players that we haven't seen yet. We actually had 4 nominees for this one. It's the only category like that. The nominees are all Swedish: Jonatan Berggren, Simon Edvinsson, Albert Johansson, and Elmer Soderblom.
I love the Swedish emphasis on all the names.
Yes. And the winner is the 6th overall pick of the 2021 draft, defenseman Simon Edvinsson. And like the voters, I will say I am very excited to see what Simon Edvinsson does in a Red Wings uniform.
Yep.
I believe he will be wearing that uniform next year, not a Griffins one.
Mhm.
And I believe that, this is what Keith said a couple weeks ago. While I would not expect him to do what Seider did, because that's just setting the bar way too damn high.
Yeah.
He's going to come in and make a difference. I guarantee it. And I'm excited to see what he does. So, Kyle, over to you. What do you think of this fan vote?
Yeah, I think this is a great vote by the fans. All 4 of these guys are very exciting, and I think we will see at least 3, if not 4 of them at some point during the season next year. But I think, it's really going to come down to Berggren and Edvinsson next season. And like you said, Edvinsson's going to be on the wings. He might not be that top pair. He's probably going to be a second or third pair as he learns the ropes. He's not going to be quite as dynamic as Seider was this season in terms of having that immediate impact, but he's going to be there, and he's going to be a guy that you can build around with Seider for the future, which is super exciting. And then on the other side, we already talked about this. Berggren's going to be amazing, and I'm going to eat all this bowl of crow once he wins the Calder next year. So bring it on. I'm already ready for it. Pat, what about you? What are your thoughts on this fan award?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I don't need to pile on. I will say I'm very excited about Edvinsson. I'm very excited about any defenseman that Steve Yzerman drafts 6 overall. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I've made no secret. I've been writing about Berggren for literally 2 years. So, obviously very excited to see what he can do. But Edvinsson is going to be a difference maker as well. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be fun to watch. So don't need to pile on there. Agree with the fan vote. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to vote on Twitter. We really appreciate it. And good stuff. So I guess, hey, I'm still on. Yeah, because I am here to present the final award of the show. Yeah. And we saved the best for last. Our final award is going to go to the team's MVP this season. And our nominees are Dylan Larkin, Moritz Seider, or Tyler Bertuzzi. And this was close. Yeah. So close. Fun to watch, and you guys at home ended up making the difference on this one, which was great. Our winner for team MVP this season is Dylan Larkin. Mm-hmm. Congrats, Dylan. So really quickly, I voted for Larkin. I actually wrote about it this past week, and I didn't change my vote, unlike some people, so I'm curious to hear that later. But I look, we were talking before the show. When looking in these types of awards for MVP, you say, who do you remove from the equation and the team gets worse? And frankly, I think either Larkin or Seider fits the bill on that one. But to me, Larkin was the captain. We've talked about it before, how well he carried himself. The bounce back year that he had was impressive, and he needed to have it. And he kind of set an example for the rest of the team. So Larkin was my vote, and I'm happy to see that. So we'll go to Devin next. Devin, Dylan Larkin, team MVP. What say you?
Well, first off, to plug an article here, our writing team here at the Hockey Writers wrote a Grindline article about the team MVP, where we all, named our team MVP. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go ahead and go over to hockeywriters.com and check that one out. And when you read that article, you'll know that That vote was split because somebody on this panel changed their votes. I'm not going to name names, but they're talking after me. I voted for Moritz Seider, and the reason why is because optimism around this team is because of Seider. Larkin was on this team already, and like Pat said, you remove Larkin, this team is not the same. We saw that at the end of the season when Larkin left because of the injury. But Seider, he's one of those things that is really hard to find, and when you have it, it's like finding gold. I'm talking about a number one defenseman.
Yeah.
And when you have that, you know that you've got a foundation to build on, and that's why he's the MVP to me. And like Nate said weeks ago when we had him on, good on Steve Yzerplan for making the bold pick in 2019 and taking that German kid that nobody thought would go that high. And then before I pass it off to Kyle real quick, I also just want to say this real quick. I think it is awesome that we are doing the second annual Grindies.
Yeah.
That means we've got to do this 2 years in a row now. And that is only because of you guys. So if I could give a Grindy to you guys, I would. Thank you for letting us do this a second year in a row. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. Now, to close off this MVP discussion, here is the man himself, Kyle Knopp.
Oh my gosh.
One beer and Devin gets all sentimental.
Should see me after two.
Oh well. Next year's Grindies, we'll make sure to have it catered. All right, so I have another explain yourself right now segment right now, apparently. So here we go. When we wrote that Grindline article, I was actually the first one to jump in when Pat made that document available to put down my vote, because I thought everyone was going to be going for Seider, and everything I wrote, I completely still agree with. And honestly, when we voted for these awards, I forgot I wrote that article. However, I kind of looked at it back then as a coin flip anyway. And I think, Devin, you hit the nail on the head with your arguments for Seider, and he was the new guy to the team, the excitement building around. But again, we talked about it earlier with Larkin. He was really that heart and soul of the team, and that guy that really commanded that locker room throughout the whole season. And you could see a huge difference after he was gone last year, when he was gone and went through this year, and that type of thing. So again, I really thought this was a coin flip. And I really think either guy deserves this award. And so thank you for the fans for voting on this and keeping it close, because it kind of made my thought process come to life as to how I have been the last 2 weeks going back and forth between these two players. And I just have to say that for the Red Wings moving forward, this is exciting to have a number one center that has at least one or two wing mates that can score, probably even more. You have Bertuzzi, you have Raymond, you have Rana. And then you have the young kids coming up. And then you have a young guy on the back end that's already shown that he can be a number one in his first season in the NHL, and Moritz Seider. So honestly, I forgot I wrote about Seider being the team MVP and then went and voted for Larkin to be the team MVP for the Grindies. So that's actually kind of funny, because I just realized that as you were saying that now.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah. But I think in reality, this was a coin flip, and I don't want to take too much more time on this, but this was a coin flip. Both guys deserve this award. And I'm happy that, again, like Devin said, thank you for allowing us to do our second Grindies episode, and for being a big part of this online with the polls and voting for your favorites this year. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. And just to further the point at home, when we're talking, the fan vote ultimately did go to Larkin, by the way, but very, we're talking the last 2 hours today, and they were tied. So I think that explains it all right there. Either one of them would have been worthy of the award.
I love that happened to me, though, because that's
funny. I didn't realize you didn't know that.
I didn't. I really didn't tell you said we did the grind line article. We really did.
They're in print. Go check it out. And with that, that's going to do it for the second annual Grindy Awards. Thank you so much for joining us. And please remember to check out the Hockey Writers Sports Betting Guide. It has all the info you need for odds, lines, props, and futures, as well as your daily fantasy strategies and analysis. Please remember to do so responsibly. If you or a loved one struggle with gambling addiction, please seek help with the links provided in the description below. Don't forget, toss us a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this again, a second year in a row. That is our show. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.